All right, fourth graders, here is question 1. It says the notes for a summary need to be arranged correctly in the order in which the events occur in the text. Put the events in order by writing numbers 1 through 6 on the blanks before each sentence. This is something that you're likely to see on our fourth grade test, as well as something that we're likely to see on TCAP. I'm going to show you exactly how you should solve questions like this, and I need you to make sure that you're paying attention. This question will not be on your Kidum questions today, but it is still important that you are able to watch me and understand how you should do it in the future. Here we go. When I have a question like this, what I know to do is to read one sentence at a time and go back and find where that sentence happens in the text. So we're going to do that now so that way we can put these events in order. The first sentence says, a girl soaked from the rain showed up at the palace doors. Let's go back to the text and see where that happens. Okay, so I can see from my annotations that this first paragraph was about the prince trying to find a true princess, and we have his quotations about not being sure if someone was a real princess, and he was full of sorrow. Then I see that in paragraph 3, one dark and stormy night, a girl showed up at the palace door and asked to come in and take shelter. So I'm going to write P3 next to this sentence. So that way I know when I put these in order that that happened in paragraph 3. Let's look at the next sentence. The princess woke up with a hurt back and the queen knew she was a real princess. All right, let's go to our text again. So we know it didn't happen in paragraph 1, 2, or 3 because we just went over those. So paragraph 4, I'm going to use our annotations. The queen overheard that the girl said she was a princess and was suspicious. And the prince also was confused about how she was a real princess. So we know it didn't happen in paragraph 4. Let's go to paragraph 5. In paragraph 5, let's see, I see that the princess or the girl was taken to an area where she could dry off. The queen made a plan, and that's when she stacked all of the mattresses. The next morning, the queen asked how she slept, and the girl replied, I don't mean to be rude, but it was the most awful night I ever had. It felt as though I was sleeping on a boulder, and now my back and shoulders are black and blue. Shocked at the girl's response, the queen realized this girl was a real princess. Okay, let's see. So this is actually interesting because it actually takes place not only in paragraph 6, but also paragraph 7, because this is where the queen realized that she was a real princess. So I'm going to write paragraph 6 and P for paragraph 7. The prince and princess were married. I know that when I read this, that was the last thing that happened in the story. So that's the last sentence. The two were married at once and they lived happily ever after. So that was paragraph 7. And since we've already used paragraph 7, I'm going to make sure to tell the sentence that this happened in as well. So this is paragraph 7, sentence 1, 2, sentence 3. So P7, S3, paragraph 7, sentence 3. The prince was in search of a real princess is our next sentence. So let's see where that happened. I remember that when I read, it happened toward the beginning of the story. So let's look back. Once upon a time, there was a prince who wanted to marry a real princess. He traveled the world and met many princesses, but he didn't know how to tell if they were true princesses. So that's at the very beginning of the story. I'm going to write paragraph 1, P1. And the last sentence says, the girl claimed to be a real princess. Ooh, I need to make sure that I find the correct paragraph for that sentence. The girl claimed to be a real princess. So I know I already looked back at paragraph 3 when the girl showed up. So that tells me paragraph 3, but I have 2 events here that happened in paragraph 3. A girl soaked from the rain showed up at the palace doors, and the girl claimed to be a real princess. So I need to write the sentences next to these paragraph 3 sentences so I know which one came first. Let's do that now. So let's go back to paragraph 3. One dark and stormy night, there was a knock on the palace door. When the prince answered, he found a girl standing in the rain. She was soaked from head to toe and was shivering from being in the cold. So that is sentence 2 and 3. Paragraph 3, sentence 2 and 3. The girl claimed to be a princess. Let's see what sentence that is. Through her chattering teeth, she asked, "May I please take shelter in your home? I am a princess who became caught in this terrible storm, and I need a place to stay until I can reunite with my family." So here's where she said, "I am a princess." This sentence right here. And I'm going to count that now. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. This is sentence 5. Paragraph 3, sentence 5. So I know that was some counting. That's a little bit of work, but because I did all that work, now I can easily put these events in order. So I'm going to look for the first thing. P1 is the first thing that happened in this text. So I'm going to label 1 next to the prince was in search of a real princess. Let's look and see what came next. So I have no P2 here, but I have 2 P3s. One is sentence 5, one is sentence 2 and 3. I know that 2 and 3 have to come before 5. So the first sentence that we were given is actually number 2, which tells me that the last sentence we were given is number 3. All right, so now I have 2 more events to put in order. One says P6 and 7, one says paragraph 7, sentence 3. I know that this has to be last because it only occurs in sentence 7, or sorry, in paragraph 7. So I'm going to leave that one alone for a minute. I know I've done 1, 2, and 3. So I know this has to be 4, and this is event 5. So that is how we organize events when we're given questions like this. We make sure that we go back to the text and we make sure that we take the time to not only look at the paragraph, but the sentences to put these events in correct order. All right, 4th graders, I know that you've been talking about setting in school for a long time, so I'm going to let you skip this one with me. You're going to do this in Kiddom on your own. You're going to choose which of those choices best describes the setting on your own. And we're going to talk about question 3 here. What is a good character trait to describe the prince? Character trait. So when we're asked questions about character traits, we want to make sure that we think about the character's words that they spoke, the thoughts that they had, the actions that they had in the story. So what did they do in the story? How did they speak? How did they think to themselves in the story? And we're given 4 choices here. So in class, if we were doing this together, I would tell you to eliminate the answers that don't make sense. So we see carefree, mischievous, brave, and picky. And when you do make an answer selection, we would want to have text evidence. So I would tell you to go back to what we read and look in the text and find the prince's words and decide which of these 4 choices best goes with his character because of the words that he spoke or the thoughts that he had. So that's your job to answer number 3 in Kiddom, doing exactly that. Let's go ahead and pause the video if you need to answer that question in Kiddom. And when you're ready, push play again and we'll go over the next question. All right, let's look at question 4. The queen puts a pea in the bedding and the girl complains of the terrible night's sleep she had. How was this event important to the story? So let's look at our choices here. So we are being asked about the queen putting a pea in the bedding, and that the girl complains of a terrible night's sleep, and how it's important to the story. A says this is why the princess returns to her bedroom to get more sleep. B says this is why the princess leaves the castle in search of her family. C says this shows how the queen is more focused on the girl's appearance than the girl. And D says this proves to the queen that the girl is a true princess and can marry her son. So what I would like for you to do is think right now about which of these choices we should not choose because it doesn't make sense based on what we read and what we know happens because of the test that the queen did with putting a pea in the bedding. Which choice should we choose? I want you to pause the video when you're ready, answer it in Kiddum, come back and push play again as soon as you're ready to go on to number 5. All right, let's look at number 5. What happened as a result of the princess not having a good night's sleep? Let me reread that. What happened as a result of the princess not having a good night's sleep? When we say as a result, this tells us that we're talking about cause and effect. So because the princess did not have a good night's sleep, what happened? Did she A, leave their castle in search of her own family? B, the prince marries the princess because he knows she is a true princess? C, the queen knew the princess was lying about being a true princess? Or D, the prince took the princess back to her castle? So I would tell you to eliminate answers that don't make sense because they did not happen in the story. So right now, think to yourself, which of these answers didn't happen in the story, and make sure that we do not choose those. Then make sure that you look at the answers that are left and we choose the best one. Pause the video and go answer in Kiddum, and when you're ready, push play again and we'll go over the next question. All right, let's look at question 6. Using context clues, that means using what we know in the story. What is the meaning of the word wretched? So we should go back to the text and we should look and see where the word wretched is, and we should think about these 4 words and which one makes the most sense. So A says terrible, B says rich, C says hopeful, and D says kind. Let's go back to the text and decide which of those makes the most sense about the meaning of the word wretched. All right, and it's already here. We see it circled because we annotated it. In paragraph 4, the queen overheard what the girl had said and was very suspicious. The girl was quite a wretched sight in the eyes of the queen. She thought the girl did not resemble royalty with her sopping wet hair and drenched clothing. So this tells me that wretched, I can use the girl's appearance to help me figure out what wretched means. So the choices we were given again were A, terrible, B, rich, C, hopeful, D, kind. So I'm picturing in my head what someone might look like showing up in the middle of the night with sopping wet hair and drenched clothing. And I'm going to eliminate the answers that don't make sense. So if you are following along with me right now, in Kiddum, I want you to select the best choice, A, terrible, B, rich, C, hopeful, or D, kind, for the meaning of the word wretched based on what we just read. Pause the video to answer the question and push play when you're ready to go on to the next question. All right, let's look at the next question. Question 7. Which of the following has the same sound as claimed? Claimed. So we want to make sure that when we are answering questions like this, that we're thinking about the vowel sound. So what vowel sound do you hear in claimed? Is it A, P, B, happily, C, placed, or D, mattress? Which one of those has the same vowel sound as claimed? Go answer that in Kiddum. And when you're ready, continue on with question 8. Question 8 says, what is an antonym for the word luxurious? So we talked about this word luxurious. We can go back and look at it here in just a second, but I want to remind you that antonym means opposite. So which of these words that we're given here has the opposite meaning of the word luxurious? Let's go back and look at the word luxurious as it's used in the text. Paragraph 6 says, she was expecting the girl to have had the soundest sleep in such luxurious bedding. Remember, we talked about the type of bedding that we would see in a palace. So I know that I don't want to choose the actual meaning of luxurious because I'm asked for the antonym, which I know is the opposite. So we should eliminate right away the answer choice that is similar to the meaning of luxurious. And I see there are a couple here. So I want you to pause the video. Actually, don't worry about pausing the video. This is our last question. I want you to go in and go to Kidim and answer which is an antonym for the word luxurious. Go do that now. And thanks so much for being here today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.